Renowned Broadway music director Mary-Mitchell Campbell is set to receive this year's Isabelle Stevenson Award at this year's Tonys. It's for her extensive advocacy and humanitarian work in the theater community. Here's Perry Sook.
Well, what an honor. Today, I am joined by the 2026 Isabelle Stevenson Tony Award winner, Mary-Mitchell Campbell. Mary, I just have to start by saying congratulations, well-deserved.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Well, I mean, it's so well-deserved. I mean, when you look at, obviously, your Broadway credits and your work with Encores and everything, that list is very long, but your humanitarian efforts are as long a bio. I mean, what motivated that? We're coming on 20 years of Arts Ignite. You know, you were one of the founding members of Muse, plus all of your other charity work with Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS and music directing, everything in between. Just what started that?
When I first moved to New York City, I showed up at Broadway Cares. I asked if I could start volunteering. I got really involved there. In 2003, I went through a relatively bad breakup and decided to go volunteer for months in India. And so when I came back, I was like, I really want all of this to mean more than just putting on a show. And I watched how art has the power to transform community. You know, it really brings people together, but also being able to use the arts to teach health education and life skills to kids who are in extreme situations and get them to imagine going to college. Because imagination is not a muscle they are often asked to exercise, but we get to do that all the time.
Sure.
And so being able to bring that into those communities was really special.
Can you talk about, you know, now coming on 20 years,
right.
Just what the program has done over that span?
Well, we've reached about 45,000 young people
Wow.
at Arts Ignite. And so that's been a major impact in the US, Africa, and India primarily, but other countries as well. I think the thing to me that's the most powerful is just getting to watch a lot of those kids go to college, graduate. Some of them have gone into the arts, which was never the goal. The goal was just to get them to college.
Sure.
You know, one of the ones that I was working with recently has now become a teacher of musical theater. And
wow.
It's kind of wild to me that we introduced it to her when she was 12.
What are some of the other moments that really, to you, speak to why you think you're receiving this award?
I think I've just been doing the work for a long time, and I've been working with a lot of people. You mentioned Muse, which is an organization that I've helped found with my other colleagues, which provides training and mentorship to musicians of color. There's Maestra that I'm deeply involved with. It does similar work with women and non-binary musicians. You know, I do a lot of work with cancer charities, and I'm doing something coming up for the First Amendment. I do get behind a lot of causes that I care about, and I think that the passion just comes from being able to get involved with all these different groups.
So music direction, such a specific skill set, such a leadership position. What road took you there to where you are now?
You know, when I was in college, I knew that I wanted to go into theater, and I actually found in a library, back when we used to go to libraries, I found a book that was called Careers in Musical Theater. And I found music director, and I thought, this is what I think I want to do. When I moved to New York, I was like, that seems like a right pathway, but I didn't know if it would ever pan out.
Sure.
So I really just tried to find mentors, and I started playing auditions. I got into the audition circuit, which was really great. I met one of my lifelong friends, Gavin Creel, because I was the audition pianist and he was the reader for original production happening in Connecticut, and we became friends from that. It's sort of, I worked my way up from that, and I ended up just getting really involved in orchestrating and arranging and sort of all the components, and learned a lot about leadership and about keeping cast members together, but also, you know, trying to teach with kindness and compassion and bring all of those things into the room. So it covers a lot of ground, music directing, but it's a really fun job.
I gotta ask, you know, all of your work with Encores keeps you busy.
Fair.
Death Becomes Her has you busy. Fallen Angels, you're checking in music consulting on that currently.
Yes.
Not to mention any other things you have coming. Where do you find the time for this?
I don't sleep enough. That's where I find the time. No, I'm a big multitasker, to my own peril at times, but I do love being busy. And I think that you are driven by passion when you love the people you get to work with, when you enjoy like having every day be different, and you get to make cool art with people and be in a room with people and make their lives better. It's great.
The Tony Awards, the Broadway's biggest night, the big celebration. Just what has that meant to you on your journey as a music director, as an advocate? What does the Tony Awards mean to Mary-Mitchell Campbell?
I mean, I grew up watching the Tonys. You know, it was like, it's our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I would be part of Tony watch parties. And you know, you're texting with all of your theater friends, throughout the Tonys now. So it's really, really fun. It's incredibly meaningful. It's such a huge spotlight on our industry and our community and what we bring to the world through American musical theater,
Right.
which is something that I think is really, really important. And it's such a celebration of that and an honoring of the amazing people in that community that put themselves out there on stage and invite audiences in. So it's incredibly powerful to be part of it. I've been part of it as a music director for many, many years now, but obviously this is quite different.
What does it mean to you to receive a Tony Award like this?
To me, this Tony is so special because it's about advocacy. And like I said, I really believe in the power of art. I really believe in arts education. I'm a big advocate of moving from STEM to STEAM in the classroom. I think it's incredibly humbling and rewarding to be part of this community to begin with. When I moved here from North Carolina, never even thought that I would do a Broadway show. So to be able to be part of this incredibly special group of people that make up the Broadway community for 20 years is an unbelievable gift, and this just feels like an incredible icing on the cake.